go.
Hello, hello, Ignacy, Portal Games.
And this is the Podfather of Gaming, Stephen Bonacore. You are listening to episode 184, and we're recording it on February 27th, 2021. Board Games Insider is a proud member of the Dice Tower Network. And Tom Vassell is such a sweetheart. Did you know that, Ignacy? He was so nice to me yesterday while we were recording the playthrough video of Terraforming Mars Aries Expedition. Of course, he had to be nice to me since it was a paid video by Stronghold Games. And, like being mean to the retired president of the company, might be in poor taste, don't you think?
Are you saying that you paid, or your old company paid to Tom Vassell so he's nice to you?
Well, that might be a correlation there. Actually, I wasn't even supposed to be on the video. I mean, they didn't pay for me to be there. They just, he gets paid to do like these playthrough videos occasionally. And we did Terraforming Mars Aries Expedition. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And I said to him, hey, can I come down and play? He's like, oh yeah, sure. That'd be great. So, it's a long drive, but it was fun. And we played some great games yesterday. And I'll talk about them in a little minute. So
was he nice enough for you to win the game?
It was a really, you know what? People should watch the video and we'll let them know to see who won that game. But Ignacy, tell us what's happening over Portal Games.
Over Portal Games, this week we dropped another bomb, a huge announcement from us, a huge surprise for everybody. For months, I was teasing Book of Adventures expansion for Robinson Crusoe that is going to go to Kickstarter. The secret that we were preparing was a small turn in the whole story. So it is not the Book of Adventures going to Kickstarter. It is the whole Robinson Crusoe Collector's Edition, big, grandiose new edition of the game. And it's not going to Kickstarter, but it's going to GameFound. So two twists in one press release.
Yeah, and that's why I told you I was mad at you, because you never even told me. See, guys, you knew about it before I knew that Ignacy was going on to GameFound with this. So, congratulations. I think that's great. Was no reason to tell me, but that's really cool that you're supporting a new platform. And I'm sure they made you an offer you couldn't refuse. So it was a win-win for everybody to do it.
This is for us a very exciting moment. And speaking about the offer, of course, we will not discuss the details of the offer, but sure. I can share with all the publishers who are listening to this podcast, so all the fans who are interested. At this point, the GameFound is helping creators create a great campaign. Like, they have this know-how after doing this amazing Kickstarter for Tainted Grail, Nemesis, and all other things.
Sure.
So having a chance to work with this team, have these Skype calls or Zoom calls with their team, with the advisors, is lots of value, especially for the young creators, for the people who are just starting crowdfunding. And having a chance to work with the experienced team is a game changer for sure. And the feedback after opening the draft page, announcing the upcoming Kickstarter, not Kickstarter, GameFound, was amazing. We have more than 10,000 people following the project already. So we are very, very proud, and we will see what will happen. The campaign starts on March 23rd. Of course, I will be talking about this in upcoming episodes. But the big press release of this past few days was for us. It's not the Book of Adventures. It's a whole big new collector's edition of Robinson Crusoe with miniatures, with the campaign. And I will, of course, discuss this in upcoming weeks when we are closer to the start of the campaign. So this was my news of the week. And my brag of the week. I want to be just sure that our listeners understand that we are always doing this segment with a little bit of a winking to them, like this, just jokes, of course. Because if somebody thinks that we are seriously doing a brag of the week, there will be disaster. And my brag of the week this week is I surprised myself with my own genius.
And you're a genius. That's it.
I am.
You realize you're a genius. Go ahead.
And let me explain. We are doing for our Polish channel, on our YouTube channel, playthrough for the campaign for the first Martians. The game was released many years ago. We decided, okay, it's no longer time to hide all the secrets. We can finally spoil the campaign. We finally can show everybody what was hidden in the campaign of the first Martians, and we are doing for Polish channel. And after this many years, I forgot about one of the big twists in the campaign, and I surprised myself. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I invented this many years ago. That's amazing. And I'm so dumb that I forget about this one twist, and I was acting really, really like a end user who just bought the game and was surprised. So yes, I am so smart that I even surprised myself. This is my brand
That's
of the week. But it was
that is
very,
hysterical. That's
that
great.
was very nice moment, to oh yeah, that was it. I forgot about this, and I was like super happy. And so it worked. The twist worked. I'm very happy.
Pat on the
Only in
back.
Polish, of course. Only on Polish. So I'm sorry for our listeners, they will not be able to watch it or at least understand it. Pre-orders section of for us, small reminder, 51st State, the Moloch expansion, small product, only for hardcore fans. I guess they already pre-ordered it, so just reminding about this. And what's happening at HQ? Steven knows this stage at every single company. We are 4 weeks to start Kickstarter. Everybody's running around the office. Everybody's preparing assets. Everybody's preparing marketing. Everybody's preparing mock-ups, etc., etc., etc. We have 4 weeks to start the biggest campaign of this year for us, Robinson Collector's Edition. So very exciting. For me, my employees are a little bit tired, stressed, under pressure. Fun times, I would say.
That's great.
But yes, this is the things that you have to work overtime. You have to work hard. You have to prepare everything. So then you will be remembering, hopefully, the success for the campaign for years. So I guess everybody understands that at my office these days. And for the section video of the week, last week I recorded top 5 crazy adventures I had with my fans. Involve adventures at the airport, adventures at the flights, adventures at the book fairs, all these crazy things that happened when I was meeting unexpected fans in the past year. So if you want to hear some anecdotes, go check out the YouTube channel for Portal Games. And a reminder for everybody, we are doing a live stream every Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern time, when I'm always preparing some new topics to discuss with the fans. So this is what's happening. Basically, Robinson Crusoe Collector's Edition is happening, and it will be happening for upcoming weeks.
That's great. That sounds like it's going to be a fantastic campaign on the new platform of GameFound.
Yep.
So over here at the Podfather of Gaming, very busy week of things. First, I want to the quick challenges of the week to you guys and the shout outs sort of at the same time. Go check out Core Worlds Empires and Core Worlds Nemesis, the solo mode for the original Core Worlds, on Kickstarter. Now, the Kickstarter is closed, but you can do the late back over there. I can't tell you how cool the game was. I wish that I had the opportunity to have done it at Stronghold, but Andy Parks did it, and you're going to love it. If you like an epic type of experience, go check that out. And then, of course, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a moment, Terraforming Mars Aries Expedition is on Kickstarter now. Obviously, it's well-funded, $750,000, about $800,000 right now. And by the time you hear this, it's going to be well over $1 million, I'm sure. And there's only going to be a few days left by the time you hear this on Wednesday, the 3rd of March, because it ends on Friday, I believe, the 5th. So check out Terraforming Mars Aries Expedition on Kickstarter. Videos of the week. Well, guess who did his first unboxing and component overview video? That would be the Podfather. So Stronghold Games sent me a copy of Aries Expedition, and I did an unboxing and component overview. We obviously didn't go through it in detail, but I showed the game and how the talked about what was changed in the game from the original, because this is a distilled card game version. I'm kind of proud of it. I can't really do video editing. That's just not my thing, and I'm not going to do that. But I did enough editing to make it really interesting, I think, for the viewers. So check that out on the Podfather Gaming YouTube channel. And then also what I was talking about before, that Tom Vassell, Mike Delisio of the Dice Tower, and we played Terraforming Mars, the Aries project. And it was just so much fun. We had a great time beating up on each other on the video. Go check that out. And the funniest thing about that, like after the game was over, I mean, the excitement and the fun is palpable. I mean, sure, Tom's going through it. He's got to do it the right way and all. But you could tell how much fun we were having playing it. At the end of the thing, after it was over, cut, we're done. Okay, great. Tom says, that might be better than Terraforming Mars, the original. And I'm like, it's really good. I had not seen the game since the original prototype, which I saw at Gen Con 2019. And then the team was developing and developing and developing. And of course, then in early and mid 2020, when it had gotten much more polish on it, I was preparing for retirement. So I wasn't taking on looking at new things. So they continued, and it is so good. It's like you take Terraforming Mars, the 2.5 hour game that is, and just distill it down, and you get all that great experience in a 1 hour game. So go watch it played on the Dice Tower channel or on the Podfather Gaming. It's linked over there, and you can see what it's all about. I think you're gonna like it if you're a fan of Terraforming Mars, especially. And the video of the week that I have to mention, which I was glued and I've watched it several times on the computer, was the landing video of the Perseverance rover on Mars. Ignacy, did you actually see the video? Not just those initial snapshots, but the video that the Mars rover took a video of itself as it was landing.
Yep. But they published it like 2 days later, right?
They had to
landing, and yes, and they waited, and then
it's gigabytes of data coming from like another planet. So so it was 3 days after it, they actually did it. And then they took that video and they layered on it the audio that they were doing back at Mission Control, which is on a 10-minute delay. So when they were saying it's entered the atmosphere, the thing had already landed or crashed, right? But obviously it landed safely. They don't know this. It's a 10-minute communications delay. So they layered that audio on top of that video to show you the different things that were happening that they were getting. It's amazing to see this happening 100 million miles away. If you watch one video, don't watch Ignacy's or Steven's videos. Watch this video. It's amazing. It really is. So go Perseverance. I can't wait for now the hard science. Now that we're there, the hard science to start as they search for life and fly a helicopter and look for more water and all these cool things on Mars. Just amazing. Some more news of the week. So I played, as I just mentioned, Terraforming Aries Expedition, and it was just amazing. I stayed at Dice Tower headquarters for a bit, and we played Nexus Ops, which is literally one of my, if I had to create a top 10 game list of games, it probably would have 25 games in it, if you know what I mean, because you can't get 10. I have, maybe 25, but this would absolutely be in that top 10 or so games of mine. I love Nexus Ops, 2004 game from Avalon Hill originally, then it was redone by Fantasy Flight. Light war game, perfect game. Aggression is rewarded. Love that game. And then we played Fayum, if I'm pronouncing that right, which is the new 2F Spiele game available on Board Game Geek. And wrapping your head around what to do was the hard part. But once you're into this flow, it was such a fun game. The theme doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter. It's about like building things in Egypt. No, it's really not. It's just about creating settlements and roads and getting your farmers moving around to remove crocodiles from the area, and you get money, and there's economics in the game, of course, like Friedman Freeze loves to do. So, I had just a great time playing this game, and after we played it, and it was again it was a really close game. Tom won it, I think. Really tight game, and I said I have to get this game and I have to play this game again. So I'm just shouting it out because it was such a fun time to do it. Fayum, I believe it is available only on Board Game Geek store right now. And the final news of the week: the J&J vaccine has been approved. This is game-changing, figuratively and literally. Conventions on the horizon. It's a one-shot vaccine, traditional method of creating it. If you were worried before about getting these weirder vaccines that they're now developing, this is a traditional one, like the flu vaccine, like the measles vaccine. The same way they produce those, this one is now out there. And they're going to be able to produce a lot of them one shot. Hopefully the rest of the world can get it as well. Hopefully, it can get out to Europe as well. Game changing. Very excited about this. It enables conventions. Dice Hour East officially canceled, but Gen Con is still sending out information. They put out a survey, which was really cool. There were two surveys, one that went to attendees and one that went to exhibitors. So I am excited by the prospects of Gen Con becoming even more of a reality. I'm still crossing my fingers that is going to be the one. Ignacy, can you tell that I'm excited, guy? That I'm really excited?
Oh, yes.
Let's get over to the event deck now. All right, so we have a lot of news here, so I'm not even sure we're going to be able to get to questions from you guys, but let's talk about some news. And Ignacy, you started with this one. Lord of the Rings tabletop RPG, The One Ring, is getting a second edition. So tell us a little bit about this particular RPG and why you brought this up, because this is obviously something I love. Why'd you bring this one up to our news?
Because this is a amazing follow-up to the news that we covered a few months ago when we reported that Kubiso 7, the long-time publisher of Lord of the Rings role-playing game, lost the rights. And we reported that the new company is going to get this rights, and we were discussing that we hope they will do a good job with this license, because we both, of course, are huge fans. Mostly of our listeners as well. So yes, it is happening right now. The game is on the Kickstarter platform. Oh yes, I'm back to the project. Oh yes, I'm waiting for my copy of the game. Funded in 4 minutes. No surprise here. Yes.
It's still going for 5 more days. You know what? I'm backing this right now. As we speak, I'm backing this project.
I back this. It looks amazing. The artwork is stunning, and this is the same team of developers who created all their great games. Tales from the Loop being the most renowned recently released alien role-playing game. So as we said last time, on one hand we are sad that the Kubiso 7 lost the license, because they were doing a great job with the license. But it looks like the license landed well in the hands of another great team. And I'm looking forward for my copy of the game. And I see that there is thousands of players, to be precise, 11,000 players waiting for their copies to arrive later this year.
I just backed it. and I've never played this Lord of the Rings RPG, but you know what? Maybe I'll even run one. Oh, that would be cool.
And when I'm looking at the page, I just got updated one additional backer. So it was you probably.
That was me.
It just changed as I'm speaking.
That is pretty funny. Okay, what else we have here? We have the Golden Ace Game of the Year in France. Okay, I've never heard of this award.
My God! Don't say that. This is
the most important award of all time, right? Because you won it, right?
I did.
I'm waiting for it to come up on my screen. I clicked on the link. This website's great. Go ahead.
So tell us. Just to remind you, this is the thing that happens every year in February in Cannes, in France. The big ceremony, the Cannes. Of course, this year no Cannes because of the COVID, so it was in digital form only. But this is as we every single time discuss. There are awards that we love, and there are awards that make sales, that are really important for the sales of the game. The Golden Ace is the second biggest award that provides the increase of the sales. I had honor to win the award for Detective, and the sales of Detective that year suddenly go up. We sold thousands of copies of the game after we won the award. And as we say with Steven every single time, Spiel des Jahres matters. Golden Ace matters for the French market. I guess it is not important in Spain or Italy, maybe in America, nobody cares. But in France, it has a huge gravity on the sales of the games, and it is very important in this country. Micro Macro Crime City won the award. And similarly to the Spiel des Jahres, there is a category for the expert game, and it was won by the game The Crew, originally published by Cosmos Games in Germany. And also the game from Bruno Catala for the children game Dragon Nomino, which is a new iteration of King Domino. We all know the King Domino, of course.
Sure.
So great 3 games. Congratulations to the winners. And it is very, very important night for the French gaming.
Very, very, very cool. Congratulations. Metal Gear Solid, the board game, has been canceled, says publisher IDW Games. Now, Metal Gear Solid, the board game, is canceled. The announcement was made February 17th, 2 days after a forum post by designer Emerson Matsushi, who indicated that IDW Games is no longer moving forward with the project. They claim that the decision was made in December. The game would have cost $125 at retail, and Polygon, where we're getting this information, has reached out to IDW and Konami, who owns Metal Gear Solid, for more information. So this was announced over 2 years ago now, this game, and they were showing all the prototypes and the miniatures and all this stuff.
Gen Con 2019, there was a huge hype for the game at Gen Con 2019. I was there, everybody was discussing this.
That's right. And it was like one of the biggest announcements there, because of the IP is very big. You know, with some people, I don't know it as well. It's a video game IP, right? So
it's a very popular video game, correct?
Very popular video game. So we don't know why they're not moving forward. It certainly could be that having to do with the IP was lost. They can't use the IP anymore for some reason. We don't know. But Emerson Matsushi, who is an awesome guy and a great designer, is now weighing his options. And he says, I have been pursuing a myriad of options to keep the project going. I have offered to put in capital from my company to help fund the last leg of the project, and even to buy out IDW's interest in the project alongside with purchasing all the assets. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any traction with those options, which is kind of sad that, you know, and we don't know the story yet. So we don't know that IDW is doing something wrong. Maybe they can't sell it. Who knows? But Emerson wants to bring the game to life. Now, he does own the design apparently, and he's got it back. But can he use the IP? He probably would need to sign a completely separate thing with Konami on that. So it's a very interesting story, and I think we're going to hear more about this going forward.
Yeah, this is interesting and very mysterious. There is not many stories like that in the industry. Like, we are recording this podcast for many years right now, and I don't recall any story like that.
Right.
That there was a game that was announced, a game that was on pre-order or Kickstarter. I don't remember. I know that they already sold copies in advance. There was artwork presented. There was a Gen Con presentation. There was miniatures presented. There is a designer who is established and well-known. Like, everything is intact. And then suddenly big news that it will be canceled. One of the most surprising stories of the past few months or years.
More to follow on that. Here's a short one that I'll do. Cranio Creations, Italian company, is now owned by Cranio Creations. Lorenzo, Giuliano, and Simone. So when I go to Essen every year, I meet with Cranio almost every year. I meet with these guys. And who knew that they really didn't own the company? I think they had some equity in the company, but it was really owned by Centauria Incorporated. SRL is like Italian Incorporated. So Centauria owned the company, and they were Cranio. So they probably had, maybe originally Centauria funded them, so therefore they own most of the company. I'm going to guess this. But Lorenzo, Giuliano, and Simona, they all went in and they bought the company back. So Cranio Creations now owns Cranio Creations. I wish them the best. They're really cool guys, really nice guys.
We are doing in Poland Polish edition of Barrage, one of their most famous Euro games ever published. The amazing game. So I will have to look at the invoice.
see who you got to pay next time.
Yeah, new account number. We figure out.
So this is the story about GameFound again. Skyrim becoming a board game and launching on the new Kickstarter alternative GameFound. And it was announced with Robinson Crusoe. And are there other ones that were announced all at the same time? So why don't you take us through this, since you obviously know a lot about all of the stuff that boom, GameFound came out with.
Yeah, so we discussed this with Steven at the very beginning of the year that GameFound tried to become the competitor for Kickstarter. We both believe it will be very difficult. Kickstarter is we use the word crowdfunding. We are using the word Kickstarter. Like this is for us the verb to announce that something is going to be crowdfunded. So it is a very difficult task. But yes, GameFound is trying, and their plan is, of course, to bring amazing projects to get interest of media and, of course, customers. So they start visiting the platform. And this past week, they announced their plans for upcoming months and what projects people will be able to find there. And besides my Robinson Crusoe, listed in the press release, there was, of course, the big IP, the Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, the board game, and of course, everybody was excited about discussing the Skyrim, the board game, one of the biggest role-playing game ever in the video market. And then, of course, they announced a couple of other titles that will show up on the platform in upcoming months. So they said, this is what's coming to our platform. You should be excited. You should expect that. And hey, if you're a creator, if you have interesting project, contact us. This is our contact information. Maybe you want to be among these amazing projects. So they are trying hard to bring more traction, yes, and more projects to the platform. We will see. I see some chances for this platform to grow. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good news. Having alternatives. Having a monopoly is always bad, or somebody that's everybody goes to. So having alternatives is always a good thing. So the next section of this podcast is going to be called the Hasbro section. We have a lot of news on what's going on at Hasbro, which of course, Hasbro, part of the company, nothing to do with us. Hasbro, and some of that company has something to do with us, and that's Magic the Gathering.
And this time I'm prepared, so go with the news, and I will have some update because I am prepared. I did some research, so I will have some knowledge today.
I like this on the business topic. So Magic the Gathering, which obviously is owned by Hasbro via the Wizards of the Coast, and it's had their best financial year ever. 2020 was officially the best-selling year ever in Magic the Gathering's 27-year history, according to Hasbro's latest earnings report. They just came out their earnings. Out of its many different gaming brands, the report singles out Magic the Gathering and Monopoly as being a driving force in increased revenue in many of its regions. The report states that in 2020, Magic made, get ready, $581.2 million US, an increase of 27% as compared to 2019, despite Hasbro as a whole earnings reduced by 8% last year. Ignacy, do you want me to stop there to go to the next one, or you want to take?
Yes. I want to give just a little deal. So after this news, when we found this news and put it in the show notes, I asked my employee who is playing Magic, and I said, "Hey, dude, there is no tournament scene because all the stores are locked down. There is no tournament of Magic in stores. How is it possible they have the biggest year of the in the history?" So he showed me the app that we were discussing in the previous episodes, Magic the Gathering Arena. And man, this app knows how to do monetization. So there is so many ways you can buy boosters there, you can buy cards there, you can take part in the tournaments during this app, you can change, of course, the skins and your avatars, and like this full-blown modern app, modern website that does all the tricks that all these big app store gigants do. So yes, we don't have a data. We cannot confirm that how much of the income was from the physical cards and how much from the e-cards, e-sport. But definitely I can report right now after seeing this app, it is well done with all these monetization tricks that you can imagine.
When you're a multi-billion-dollar company, you can create really good apps, I bet. So they have created the killer app, as we used to call it in IT, and that app obviously perfectly monetizes exactly what they're doing, and they just continue to suck money out of the Magic the Gathering players in a new way of doing it, which is great for the company, and the players obviously like it too. So
And
very
if I
cool.
can, if I can add one more, not prediction, maybe question, or maybe interesting concern, what will
Okay.
happen? I talked with this employee he's a huge Magic the Gathering fan, and he said that he totally switched to playing tournaments in an e-version, and he doesn't need to go back to local game stores when they're open. He's fine with the cards that he has in the app. He's fine with playing, online in the tournaments. And now, of course, the question for the whole industry is if in 2021, in 2022, we will see the huge shift of Magic the Gathering becoming the e-sport of more than regular tournaments that there were game stores. So very interesting shift that brought a lot of money to
A lot of money. And the good news from Hasbro continues. Hasbro is announcing movies and TV plans from Dungeons and Dragons to Risk and Clue. Hasbro outlines upcoming film and TV plans. The key points here, by the way, you got this from CNBC. That's my outlet of news. It's a financial network. I watch so much CNBC these days. It's like crazy. So kudos for picking this up from them. Hasbro shared its plans for dozens of films and TV shows based on its iconic brands during its Investor Day on Thursday. These upcoming projects range from theatrical releases, movies, to competition shows. Wow. The toymaker revealed plans for unscripted projects based on Monopoly, Mousetrap, Easy Bake, Operation Nerf, and Play-Doh. We don't really care too much about those. But they've got things in here for stuff that we love, like Dungeons and Dragons, and I can't imagine how they're going to be bringing these IPs and all of them apparently at the same time into various TV and movies. Let me read the one about Dungeons and Dragons. Jerry Lachman, a producer of 6 Marvel films, is one of the masterminds behind the upcoming Dungeons and Dragons film that is being created in partnership with Paramount Pictures. So we're talking huge cred here. This film is set to star Chris Pine, that's Captain Kirk, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, and Regé-Jean Page, and will be written by John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, who wrote Spider-Man: The Homecoming. Oh my God, that is amazing. I don't know when it's happening, but that's amazing. And Magic the Gathering, Hasbro announced it will be working on a feature film based on its Magic the Gathering property with Fox. And they're doing Transformers and My Little Pony and the Risk TV show. I don't even know what that means. So, Ignacy, I'm blown away that they're going to be moving forward with these things. But I guess this is an entire movement toward putting stuff into TVs and movie and streaming services because, well, the entire world has changed to spending more time in front of a TV-like instruments, right?
I would say that when I was in high school and anybody learned that I'm playing some stupid role-playing games or I'm playing with miniatures, that was not a good thing to discover by my peers that I'm doing this stuff because they were laughing at me. Now we can say, dude, we were doing this for 20 years and you can now learn from us about these cool things like Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering, and now we are the cool kids on the block, while back then in high school we were these stupid nerds. So I'm very happy seeing the thing that we love becoming mass market and popular, and this is good times we are living in, besides the stupid COVID, of course.
That's right. So how about this one? WotC is partnering with Games Workshop and others in something called Magic the Gathering Universes Beyond. And they've announced this Universes Beyond, which is going to bring worlds, characters, and stories cherished by millions of fans around the world into Magic. They're going to be bringing these other things in. So among those worlds are the expansive universes of Warhammer 40K and, drumroll please, Lord of the Rings. Can you imagine we're going to have Lord of the Rings Magic cards? That's wild. Now, I didn't get enough information out of this release to say, is it a complete set or is it just a few cards? Because I know they've done things where they've like had these like collectible like sets of 5 cards that like they're not even tournament legal kind of cards. Do you know what they're going to be doing exactly, Ignacy,
No,
with this?
I know only
Okay.
what this in this article. I saw this Space Marine dude, and I sent this immediately to my son, who is playing Magic and who is playing Warhammer 40K. So I said, "Dear son, this is your dream come true." And he was not very happy because he saw his pocket money just being destroyed by these new expenses. So yes, he's into it, of course, like all of us who love all these IPs and it's just new ways to drag us to buy new amazing items.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wizards of the Coast makes more money than Hasbro's toy business. We just talked about basically how big Magic was last year, but now during their investor day, Hasbro announced at its annual investor event Thursday that it would begin reporting Wizards of the Coast and digital gaming as a separate segment of its quarterly and annual financials going forward. Reported sales and operating profit looking backward at 2020 and 2019, and also broke out Wizards of the Coast sales numbers from within the Wizards of the Coast and digital gaming segment for 2020, a treasure trove of information about one geek culture's most important companies. The new segment with Wizards of the Coast at its heart includes all revenue associated with Wizards of the Coast tabletop and digital games, including Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons, as well as licensed Hasbro digital gaming across the portfolio. The top line number is that Wizards of the Coast had $816 million in sales in 2020, with Magic the Gathering revenue up 23% and Dungeons and Dragons revenue up 33%. Just huge, huge numbers when you consider that everyone's staying at home and doing this, right? I mean, it's just astonishing that things that people had to get together for a year ago, they're doing it at home, and profits and revenue way up at the company that makes all this stuff. Incredible.
Yeah. I have to admit and I have to confess that I didn't realize that the Wizards is so important for Hasbro, that it is so big part of the revenue. My perception for years was that Hasbro is doing all these dolls and houses and all these kids toys, and they treat like Wizards like, okay, we have some money from the Wizards, the Magic is doing well, so okay. But for them, my perception was that toys are the most important. Now when we see the numbers, when we see all these announcements, it seems that the Wizards is far more important to Hasbro than I thought. I don't know what was your perception, what was your gut feeling about this, comparison of this income for the company. I'm impressed. I'm very proud of being a geek, of being a part of this geek culture, and knowing that yes, we are important even for big gorilla like Hasbro.
Even for a $20 billion company like and it has now become the most important part of the company. I mean, from I always knew it was very significant. Now, wow, it's just incredible. That was a lot of news for this week, but we really want to get through it. I think we have a little bit of time for questions, right, Ignacy? You can let me go in for at least one or two, right?
Let's do one question and then playtesting. And
all right. See, he's always so mean to you guys. Don't
yeah, sure,
blame.
of course. Yeah. I'm complaining. I'm mean. Yeah, of course.
Blame him. Let's get to strategy and tactics. All right, Cameron Gramarier, who's at JC Gramarier. If a designer wants to theme or skin their game to fit into a world of a previously published game, not a movie or TV IP, just the game, what's the protocol? Do they contact that game's designer? Is the publisher the point of contact? On a related note, Stephen, I have something you might be interested in if you care to meet up at Geekway this year. I bet it's beer. So Ignacy, I mean, this is a fairly easy question. If they wanted to, if you weren't the president of the company, if you're a designer and they wanted to put something into your world that you created, really they have to go to whoever owns the game at that time. So normally the publisher does. So you then have to really get to the publisher, but the game designer could be a way into the publisher. So it's the IP owner is going to be the person that's going to make that call. So anything else you want to add to that? It's pretty much get to the publisher.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was going to say, that in most situations, like for 99%, the contract says that the owner of the rights for the game is the publisher.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to discuss, negotiate, and contact publisher. But Steven has a very fair point that in many cases it may be easier to reach designer on Twitter, on Geekmail or whatever, and say, hey, dude, I have this game. Can you help me do some networking with the publisher?
Yes.
Because I want to expand this world, this universe. So technically, you need to discuss the publisher.
Right.
But it may be easier to reach your fellow designer friend.
Right. Cameron, I'll see you at Geekway, hopefully, and you can give me that beer. Let's get over to our playtesting segment. All right, Ignacy, take us away. What do you have here?
How's my English?
I just got to it. Do you understand why? Yeah, it's not bad. Go ahead.
That's not bad. This is C or B, if I'm at school. Do you, and if so, why do you sleeve cards? And do you sleeve cards? He's updating my question.
There you go. Do you sleeve cards? If so, why?
Yeah, and my question is because there is so many geeks, so many gamers, so many people complaining that the games are so expensive and why these games are so expensive, and they buy for $30, $40, $50 all these sleeves to sleeve Dominion or any other game that costs so much more. And I don't want to be in trouble from Upper Deck or other companies who have sleeves. We don't want to make them angry. But what's the point of sleeving the cards? Like, do you really have a situation in your life that you played this one particular game so many times that these cards were wore out and you really saw that they are destroyed and you lost them? And how many situations like that there is in your life? And maybe it is cheaper to just buy another copy of this game instead of sleeving everything else.
Yeah. So you asking to me,
yep.
My answer is specifically, I do not sleeve cards. However, there are small circumstances where I do. So, if it's a real collectible kind of item, I'll sleeve them. Like
Lord of the Ring.
My War of the Ring collector's edition, I believe. Yes. Those cards are sleeved. Now, I've also sleeved the cards in Gloomhaven, but Gloomhaven's got 1 million cards. But I only sleeve the ones that you shuffle a lot and a lot and a lot. The players, whatever they call them, right? Like the things you play and you're constantly playing, you're constantly shuffling them. So for the two characters that we're currently playing, I shuffled those things. So I shuffle extraordinarily selectively. And I think that, like you said, if you play a game enough, I'll just go buy the game again at that point, right? So if I play Terraforming Mars so many times, I mean, that's a bad example because I got it for free, right? But if I play the game so many times and it's still in print, then I just go buy the game again. So I am not a sleever. In general terms, I don't sleeve. Ignacy, I assume you don't sleeve either?
I don't sleeve, but my purpose is super crazy. Sleeves are connected in my head with the one connotation, prototype. So when I design games, I use sleeves to put notes on a prototype. So for me, sleeve is mentally connected with the work, with the something that I'm doing at work. So at home, my games, no sleeves. I just want to feel finally some real cards instead of stupid prototype.
Prototypes are a good reason to create a sleeved thing. And there's also, here's another interesting thing. So say you did play a game so much that the cards really wore out. You could then sleeve them and put a separate backing into it, like those old Magic Land cards and stuff like that. You could almost sleeve them once they're really used a lot, and then they're kind of new again. So who cares if you see through the side of the card, you see a little bit of edging. So
I see
don't.
so many people just posting pictures. I just bought this game and I bought these 10 packs of sleeves. They sleeve it, put it on the shelf, never play.
Sorry, Ultra Pro. We're just not sleevers. It's just the case. So anyway, so right now, Ignacy is going to go create a thread in our guild on Board Game Geek. I see him doing it. Please go to our guild there on Board Game Geek, find the thread for playtesting with today's question, and answer our question to you, which is, do you sleeve cards? And if so, why? Let's get over to the final scoring. Thank you all so much for listening. Help us spread the word about this podcast by telling your friends to download Board Games Insider wherever they like to get their podcasts. To ask us questions for our strategy and tactics segment, you must post them in the correct thread in our guild on Board Game Geek. To answer our question to you from our playtesting segment, also go to our guild on Board Game Geek and look up the thread with this episode's question. Board Games Inside has a Facebook page, so please like us on Facebook. Also on Facebook, please like Ignacy's page and Steven's page, /Portal Publishing and /Podfather Gaming. Our websites, portalgames.pl, portalgamesus.com, and podfathergaming.com. Please go there, sign up for our newsletters to get up-to-the-minute information on what's happening at Portal Games and with the Podfather. On social media, you can speak directly to Ignacy and Steven. It's on Twitter. It's at Portal Games US and at Podfather Gaming. Same on Instagram and the YouTube channels. They're very active. Check them out. Portal Games Movies, Portal Games Gameplays, and the Podfather of Gaming YouTube channel. We hope to see you with vaccines at the conventions. We're hoping that happen this year. Let's see. Let's pray. Board Games Inside is professionally edited by Matthew Jude from This Game is Broken podcast. If you want him to edit your podcast, please contact him on Twitter or email at thisgameisbrokenpodcast@gmail.com. Ignacy, we're done. Any little tidbits in the end there for our fans? Not this time?
Nothing. I just started with a big Robinson Crusoe Collector's Edition. I have nothing more in the store today.
I agree. We'll have to end it right here today. Everybody, thank you so much for listening to us. And also check out the video at the Podfather Gaming YouTube channel and see what our pretty faces look like, and see that I'm wearing this really cool Occupy Mars t-shirt to commemorate the landing. Hey, did you know that the only planet that's known in the galaxy, every place, that's solely inhabited by robots is Mars? So Mars might be the Borg planet. And you know how well that went.
That's true.
Everybody, take care.
Bye-bye.